All right, let's dive into one of Python's most interesting and sometimes frustrating data structures. We're talking about tuples, and we're going to crack the code on how to work with them, even when they seem totally unchangeable.
I'm sure we've all been there, right? You've got a tuple, you just want to change one little thing, and nope, Python just completely shuts you down. It feels like hitting a brick wall. But I promise, there's a really good reason for it, and even better, a super clever way to get around it. So, the fancy word for this unchangeable thing is immutable. And you gotta understand, this isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's built into Python on purpose. Immutability is all about protecting your data, making sure that some things, like, say, a set of coordinates, can't be accidentally changed. It keeps your data safe and can even make your code run a little bit faster. Okay, so if they're designed to be unchangeable, what do we do when we actually need to make a change? Well, that brings us to the main event of this explainer, a simple but really powerful workaround I call the list conversion trick.
This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? We know the rules say tuples are immutable, but we still have a job to do. The secret isn't about breaking the rules. It's about, well, temporarily stepping outside of them.
And here's the solution, and believe me, it's as simple as 1, 2, 3. First, you change the tuple into a list. Second, you make all the changes your heart desires because lists are totally changeable. And third, you just convert that list right back into a tuple. It's like a quick costume change for your data.
Let's see exactly how that works. Let's say we have our tuple, and we really need to swap banana for kiwi. So first, we turn it into a list. Now that it's a list, we can just grab that second item and switch it out, no problem. And then the most important part, we turn it back into a tuple. Boom, you've just updated an unchangeable object.
And what's really cool is this trick isn't just for changing things that are already there. We can use the exact same idea to do other stuff, like adding brand new items or even getting rid of them. Let's check it out.
Now, if you've used lists, you know you just use the .append method to add stuff. Super easy. Tuples, of course, don't have that because, you guessed it, they're immutable. But don't worry, we've got a couple of really slick ways to get the same thing done.
Let's put two methods side by side. On the left, there's our old friend. Convert to a list, use .append to tack on orange, and then convert it back. Simple, reliable, you get it. But look at the right. This is a more direct way. You can actually add two tuples together. We make a new tiny tuple with just orange in it, and then add it to our original one. Both work perfectly. The first way might feel more familiar, but the second one is a little more direct.
Okay, so what if you need to take something out? By now, you probably know what's coming. We're going to reach into our toolbox and pull out that same trusty conversion trick. It's our universal key.
And there it is again, that beautiful three-step pattern. You turn the tuple into a list. That gives you access to all the handy list tools like .remove. You just tell it which item to get rid of. Once it's gone, you lock your data back down by turning it back into a nice, safe, immutable tuple.
Okay, so we've got the main ideas down, but now we need to talk about some really important details. These are the little things that can cause some major headaches if you're not paying attention, so let's make sure they don't catch you off guard.
This right here might be the #1 mistake people make with tuples. Look really, really closely. If you're making a tuple with just one thing in it, you have to put a comma after it. If you forget that comma, Python doesn't see a tuple. It just sees a string with some parentheses around it. That tiny little comma is everything. And I'm saying it again because it is that important. You have to burn this rule into your memory. Forgetting that comma will cause all sorts of weird bugs because your code will be trying to do tuple stuff to a string. Always remember the comma. Now let's talk about deletion on a whole different level. The del keyword is not like our .remove trick. With del, you're not just taking one item out. You are telling Python to completely vaporize the entire tuple. It's gone, wiped from memory. And this comes with a huge warning label. Once you use del, that variable is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. If you try to use it or print it later in your code, your program is going to crash and scream a name error at you. So use del very carefully. It's permanent. Phew, okay, we've covered the techniques, the tricks, and the traps. So let's just wrap this all up with a quick summary of the key takeaways and best practices that you can start using in your code right away. So here's your game plan. First, that list conversion method is your best friend for making changes. Second, please remember the comma for single item tuples. Third, before you even start, ask yourself, do I need this data to change a lot? Maybe a list is just a better choice from the beginning. And finally, if you have to use del, just be ready for that name error.
So, what are the big ideas to walk away with? 1. Immutability isn't a problem, it's a feature for data safety. 2. The list conversion workaround is your secret key to unlock flexibility when you need it. And 3. Getting the small syntax details right is what separates clean code from buggy code.
And I'll just leave you with this one final thought. We've just learned all these cool workarounds to bend the rules. But being a great programmer isn't just about knowing the tricks. It's about knowing when you don't even need a trick in the first place. So as you move forward, think about that. When is a tuple the perfect tool? And when is it just better to use a list from the start?